Hey, my friends. Happy New Year. How are you? It's cold outside. Kind of nice, right? To have a winter that feels like winter. Any New Year's resolutions for this coming circle around the sun? Intentions? My intention / resolution is to locate equanimity, which doesn't mean necessarily embodying equanimity, but just remembering that it exists. The option not to go too deep onto one end or the other exists. Balance exists. And maybe by remembering that equanimity exists, I will learn to embody it this year. Our theme this January is story. And when I first saw that that was the theme for this month, it didn't quite make sense to me why that would be the January theme. But as I've reflected on setting intentions and resolutions and starting a new cycle around the sun, I realized that this is the time of year that we often reflect on the stories we tell about ourselves and the stories we want to tell about ourselves. Some of you might be familiar with Pema Chodron, a Buddhist teacher. She has this line that she says all the time in her writing, which is drop the storyline and go with the feeling, which means to say we can get very mired in the stories we have about ourselves and the stories we have about others and the world, and we forget that other stories exist. So what does it mean to drop that storyline, to close that book and start writing a new chapter? Interesting to think about. What stories do you tell yourself? What ones are productive? What ones are not productive? What stories do you want to believe about yourself? That's kind of a fun question, right? What stories could you start writing about your life and your relationships and your love, your history and your future? Possibilities abound. Are there any writers amongst us? I know we have some poets. Have you ever written a book, a memoir? Should we have a writing group this year? New intention, new story. That could be kind of fun. A sermon writing group? Let's see what happens. This month at First You might have noticed we're trying something new, writing a new story. The leadership has very generously given Gwen, Sam, and I the first 2 Sundays of the year off to rest and recoup and plan ahead for this next chapter at church. And in lieu of the 3 of us designing and leading our worship services, from what I understand, there's been some beautiful services led by lay leaders that have included opportunities to get up and share what you've learned since 4th grade, opportunities to make and eat pancakes, and this Sunday, telling stories about our families and our lineages. Sam, Gwen, and I will be back on Sunday the 19th to celebrate and honor Martin Luther King Day, and then church will kind of feel normal-ish again, with some, surprises and spontaneous arisings along the way, I'm sure. But I hope you'll join us for all the services this month and see what happens, see what stories get written and what stories are possible. Happy New Year, friends. Can't wait to see you soon.